Welcome into the Vawlin Out Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my dude, Billy. Ratliff, that is. How's it going tonight, bro?
Hey, going good, man. How about yourself?
Buddy, if I was any damn better, I'd need a twin. Man, you know what we're here for. Let's just get down to it. Bring it in, though, right off the rip here. Vols come in at number 8 in the playoff poll, man. Didn't move us up, didn't move us down. Not a damn bit of movement in that. Left UGA, though, as the first team out. So, we've been talking about it. We know what's coming. We know why they did it. So,
well, as long as we do our job, man, we just gotta continue to get better week in and week out, man. Because as long as we win, they can't do anything but put us in there.
That's it, buddy. That's it. Just do your job. That's all it is. That's all it is at this point. Just win. The rest of it'll play out how it needs to. That being said, though, man, let's talk about this Miss State game real quick, and then we'll get into the real reason why we're here tonight, buddy. I want to say this: first quarter defense came out, keyed up, got Miss State 3 and out. Healthy run dose for the Vols on the opening drive. 4th and 6 touchdown pass to Squirrel to cap it off. It was about damn time we seen us put something on the board to end the first drive.
Finally, man. The offense, we're still struggling a little bit passing the ball, but I still think we're still productive.
Yes.
I'm kind of still excited to see backup quarterback come in and still do something and look consistent, man. I mean, he didn't make any mistakes. Nico still got some ways to go. I mean, hopefully he have a speedy recovery. Not sure if he's going to play this weekend, but I like the fact that coach is saying that he's ready. Give Jordan something to prepare for, 2 quarterbacks. So I love it.
Absolutely. Really and truly, though, I want to say this. The first quarter, at least for me, as far as watching the game, the young guys, whatever, was all about Boo Carter. Boo had himself a hell of a first quarter, man. Nice punt return, second drive. He gets the ball back on the punt return. Second drive ends with our boy D. Sant fumbling. But honestly, I'm gonna say this. I feel like most of the fumbles he's had this year has been him trying to get a little bit more than what he should. This one, though, not the case. This was just a perfect hit. I mean, kid put his helmet on the ball, and that sucker squirted out of there. But, man, I mean, Boo, he had a punt return, a pick after the descent fumble. Vols get stood up at the goal line, though, at the end of the first quarter, and Mississippi State flips the field, gets a stop, down 7-0, and we start the second quarter out, kind of backed up. So it was it's a good first quarter for the defense, though. I mean, like I say, it was good to see the offense come out hot, but I was more impressed with the defense, as I've been all year, honestly.
Well, defense have been controlling the game for us a lot. They've kept us in every game all season. I mean, I wasn't expecting Mississippi State to score as many points as they did, but, still 14 is not a lot. I'll take that. And like you said, I mean, 0 points the first quarter. I like it. Keep them out the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I also want to say this: that Van Buren kid from Miss State, man, he played himself a pretty solid game, and he's a gamer. Also, did you know he had the most passing touchdowns in the SEC in the month of October?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't. I was not aware of that. Hell of a game for him, though, man. I mean, he just come out and he played well. We finally did see Nico hit the deep ball, though, 73 yards to Thornton. First drive of the quarter for the Vols, put us up 14-0. Lengthy drive, though, for Miss State when they got the ball back, go down, tie the ball game up. We move quick down the field, go to the 2-minute timeout in the red zone. Sampson, this is whenever Sampson has the ankle injury, man. And, him and Nico both kind of trotted off around the same time, and we're going into the second half kind of like, what's going to happen, But close out the half with 2 field goals, go up 20-7 at half. One thing, though, I want to ask you, because we're at the point where I feel like I need to ask you. Kentucky and Miss State both seem like they found something they like with our run defense, and because they've been able to run the ball. Both teams were able to run the ball on Tennessee pretty easily, especially Miss State. What do you think? My concern is if those two teams have seen it, Georgia's seen it. and Georgia's got more talent in that backfield than they do. So what do we got to fix here? I feel like it's a point of attack thing, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's most definitely that, man. I mean, I told you, it starts with the defensive tackles, man. If our defensive tackles are not doing what they're supposed to, and they're just getting stood up and looking around and not pushing that pocket, it makes the running back's job a lot easier. And if you look at those past two games, that's where they was unsuccessful at. You know, we were standing up, waiting on someone else to make the play at DT. And of course, once we get the job done, it's hard for anybody to run the ball on us.
Sure.
And that's what happened. I mean, if you go look at the scheme that Mississippi State did, the scheme that Kentucky did, it was more of a zone, and the running back kind of find where he needs to go. It wasn't like it was a downhill and they was just,
whipping us,
throwing us off the ball like that. It was more of a zone and it cut back. And that's what it is. I mean, as long as our defensive line, our DTs, and I'm going to tell you this here, if we can push the pocket on Georgia won't have a chance. If they have to stick to passing the ball, we're going to win this game victorious. I mean, big. I mean, it won't be close.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Get the pass rush going early. Get it going early.
So what it was, I think, is once we just got to stop staying with blocks. We got to get off the blocks.
Shedding the blocks, yeah.
It can't be a, push and look. We got to be like either push, get up off, or push, and don't worry about it. And just let the backers make the play. Because if we're standing up and in our linebackers' way, we're going to be in trouble.
Absolutely. So with that, I'm glad we kind of addressed that, because I'm sure that's something we've had people wondering, because it's not been the run defense has not looked the same as it has all year the last 2 weeks. So hopefully that's something we get straightened out, and because Georgia's O-line's been struggling here lately. So we'll get into that some more here in a bit. But third quarter we come out. Vols really never got anything going coming out of the half. The first points of the half, though, were a 51-yard Max Gilbert field goal to push the lead to 23-7. State gets an 18-yard touchdown run from Johnny Daniels to make it 23-14 in favor of the Vols. That was the last point scored by Mississippi State. So once it sounds like we went in, made some adjustments, and that was all she wrote. Which that's one thing I'm glad we are seeing, and they're more prevalent this year. It seems like, is the adjustments being made at halftime. They're not so subtle this year. It looks like we've got the depth to make those adjustments and be able to do the adjustments that we need to make. So that's good to see. Go ahead.
Well, I think, especially in the run game, we're going to have to stop the big plays. I mean, the big plays is truly what really hurt us. Because I think the running back, I remember seeing him run maybe a 40, 50-yard long run. And that's a lot, on a defense like ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Yeah. What was do you know what was the total yardage on Mississippi State? How many total yards of that was? Was it under 295?
I can get it real quick. Hold on just 1 second. Usually I have that handy. Let's see here. I know passing the ball, they moved it pretty well on us. So I would say it's close to 299. I do think we kept it under that, though. Just barely.
And that's the key, though, man. Like, even like when I play, our goal as a defense was to keep our opponents under 299 yards. And if you can do that, typically you're going to win a lot of ball games. And yeah, right here, just 271.
2-1. So they done their job. And it seems like we're nitpicking a little bit, but whenever you're playing as dominant as you've been playing and as we've seen them play, something you're not used to seeing sticks out, and that's something we're not used to seeing is getting ran on. So, it's I think that's a good cause for concern, but I also think that, our coaching staff's far enough along and well enough to where they'll fix it, D. Samp, though, man, he come back in. Dude, he carried us that second half, let's just be honest. I mean, Gaston done a good job being backup quarterback and being prepared and this, that, and the other, but without D. Samp, man, that's a closer game than what it was. He come out, busted a 33-yard touchdown run to make it 30-14. let's see here. Then not a lot more happens after that. Get another 38-yard field goal from Max Gilbert. Good to see him get some confidence for a change after that Kentucky game. Dude couldn't hit the broadside of a barn during that game. So put it up to 33-14, and that's your final. But we kind of touched on that, though, with a couple takeaways here. Last two games, run defense seems shaky. What's been found, what's been exposed. I think you hit it on the head. I do want to say, though, I think it's because we're without part of it. A big part of it is because we are without Keenan Peely.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like watching the cut ups from the game right here as you were talking about it, and on that touchdown run, actually on both of the big runs, we was pretty much in a 3-2, 32 right there. Like, why were we in a 32 in that?
At that point, it's just you put a hat on a hat and you got your hole and you're gone.
Yeah, I mean that's easy. That's why. I mean, because I see he runs here, cuts back, nobody there. So that's a simple one. So hopefully, see that's the thing. Like I don't know if we do have that. I'm old school, and I mean, like as a player, you scout everybody that the whole offense, and you read things, and when certain things pop up, your linebacker always check to something to get you in a better situation, kind of like on offense. When the offensive guy sees something, he check. Well, normally you have that, but now I guess they read everything from the sideline and they tell you what to do now. Like that's what I don't like.
I think that's what we're missing with Keenan not being out there, because he was your guy saying, hey, you need to be over here, you need to be here, and I think that's what we're missing. And that's not a knock on Arian Carter, dude. Dude's played phenomenal ball since he's had to step in for him. But that's what you miss with a guy that's been in the system for a couple of years and knows what he's doing. Next thing up that I'm gonna say, I feel like, and this will tie into the next thing, Dylan Sampson can carry us if we absolutely have to have him do it. He proved it in this game. As long as the defense is playing well, D-Samp can do it. He can carry us. I think that's kind of this weekend gives him an opportunity to have his Heisman moment. If he's going to have it, this is the weekend to do it. But he can carry us if he needs to. He's done it. I mean, he's done it quite a bit this year, but this game in particular, without Nico, he was able to do it. And I think that Deontay Thornton is our best wide receiver, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, right now, most definitely, man. I mean, he's doing his job, man. I just still wish we could do a little bit more with getting the receivers the ball a little bit quicker, or I need to see let's get the ball in Sampson's hand and the receiving hand. Let him make some plays. Let's mix it up. Like I'm praying and hoping that they open up the playbook a little bit more this weekend, and not just stretch it down the field. I mean, I want to see some quick stuff to help the guys make some plays.
I'd like to see Sampson line up in the slot every now and then. Put him out there in the slot.
I said, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is he having issues in practice with not catching the ball or something? Because, with that many touchdowns, you would think that they would try to find some other ways to get him the ball as well. I mean, if he has that type of vision.
I'm wondering if and I feel safe in making this assumption, though. I'd say we're going to see some things this weekend that we've not seen all year. I think that Hype's kept some things in his back pocket for this game in particular, and we just might be surprised at what we see. So that's one that that's one reason I'm looking forward to this one. Now, I think this is the question everybody's wondering. Nico, I trust Hype whenever he says Nico will be good. Nico's probably going to be available this weekend. But if he's not, Gaston Moore, is he able to do that? Is he able to carry us to a win in Athens? Because here's my thing. I don't feel like we're in the worst situation we could be with Gaston Moore. He's been with Hype. He knows the offense. And with a week to get him ready, I trust him. I do. I don't know. I mean, he's going to make mistakes. That's just the way it is. But I like that we've got Gaston Moore as opposed to having to, run Merklinger or whoever. Dude knows the system, and Hype's comfortable calling plays for him. So I think we'll be okay.
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna continue to say this. I'm not worried about the quarterback position. I'm not. The quarterback position is the most prepared position on the field. These guys go through so many reps and practice, and the film is ridiculous when it comes to the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks have to be pretty much perfect. I don't know if that's how it. I mean, that's how it always be. No matter what school it is,
Right.
the quarterback has to be perfect. Backups got to be ready. You got to understand these guys do the exact same thing in practice, and that's when I tell people, go look at these quarterbacks, guys. Like when last year, when I was like when 2 years ago, when Milton went out, Hooker came in. The only difference was Hooker continued what he was doing correct. Like, the only thing people remember about Milton was his mistakes. And it wasn't many mistakes. His mistake would be overthrow. And that's not a mistake to me. Like, to me, go look at his turnover ratio. That's the thing that's
Yes.
about that. Like, these quarterbacks are designed in this system to do exactly the same. And if you go look at it, they are identical when they throw the ball. It's the exact, they either throw it high where no one else can get it, or they overthrow, or the receiver just drops the ball. Like, I'm more worried about the offensive line protecting this week, because this D line is gonna probably be one of the best ones they've played against. And last week was I would say a practice session to get ready for our defense, because they played against a great defensive line in Ole Miss last week.
Absolutely. I'm with you there. That being said, we know what happened with Miss State. We closed that one out 33-14, get the win. We're 8-1 heading to good old Athens. Talk a little series history on that one. Dogs lead the series all time now, 28-23. They're on a 7-game win streak dating back to 2017. Last win for our Vols actually came in Athens, 2016, baby, the Dobb nail boot. So that was a night the lights went out in Georgia, thanks to Mr. Jawan Jennings. Georgia put one on us last year in Neyland, 38-10. They've also won 12 out of the last 15 in the series. So been a little one-sided. Most of them have been until Hype came to town. But we went over the playoff rankings earlier to open up the show. Man, we were talking. Let's talk about this, because they're saying, Tennessee loses, we're out. Georgia wins, they're right back in it. And Georgia don't. If you compare what's left on our schedule to their schedule, that's not cool. Like, that's not kosher. We've got UTEP and Vandy left after this one. They've got Georgia Tech and whoever they play next week for homecoming.
Yes, I think it's UMass or something like that.
So you're going to tell me, because they've lost to Alabama and would essentially be, well, their only loss would essentially be Tennessee, other than Alabama. You're going to tell me because they've lost those two games, that they're capable of being in over us. And it's such a mess, dude. Like, all the pressure has been shifted to Tennessee in this game, but at the same time, they've got plenty on them, man. Like, I mean, they have to win this game. They have to. I feel like we have to too, but not with the sense of urgency that Georgia has to. This is basically this is more of an elimination game for them than it is for us.
And see, that's what gets me, man. Like, it's so much bias against us, man. Like, it's been like that way before now. Even when I played, it was the exact same way. I mean, I go into the depth of the reason why Peyton didn't win the Heisman. It's so many things that the sports world has never loved the Vols unless the Vols won it all.
Right. It's I mean, you look at their record. They're 6-2, 7-2 now. They've lost to Bama on the road, Ole Miss on the road. They did beat Texas at Texas, so I guess you got that. I mean, but they're really hanging their hanging their hat on beating Texas on the road. Texas hasn't beaten a ranked team all year. Like that's the thing. And then you've got, people like Penn State up top, up ahead of us. They've not beaten a ranked team all year. Ohio State's not beaten a ranked team all year. Excuse me, they did beat Penn State. So let me back up on that. But, it's just like it's almost like they're putting emphasis on who you've lost to, not who you beat, and where they were at when you beat them. Granted, I get, NC State don't look great right now. Oklahoma don't look great, but it is what it is. They were ranked when we beat them. So that's where I'm at with that.
I'm with you there, man. I mean, I just wish they would just say it the way it is and stop trying to not see that we still have an opportunity to make it. It's almost like they want to jinx us before it even happened.
They want to be the ones to say, "Yep, we told you so."
Exactly.
That's what it is. I'll say this though, man. Georgia's got problems. Kiffin exposed the hell out of that defense last week. Exposed it. And then, you got Carson Beck out here. He's thrown 14 interceptions over the last 6 games. I mean, the defense is going to have its opportunities.
It's just, that just don't even sound right though. Like a Georgia quarterback under that offensive coordinator, that just don't make sense. I mean, it's to me, it just sounds like he's reckless. I haven't really get to like watch him. I saw a little bit of the game, the Ole Miss game, but I still didn't really. I don't think the offensive line is good enough. Like I think they kind of got the same type of situation we have with offensive line, but they don't have any injuries though.
Right. So just so we're going to throw this out here, over the last 6 games at Alabama, Carson Beck had 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Auburn, the only game in the last 6 games he's not thrown an interception in. He had 2 touchdowns in that game. Against Miss State, the team we just played, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Against Texas in a win. So this tells you, that defense is more than likely the ones that carried that one. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Florida, he had 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And against Ole Miss, he had 1 interception. Our secondary's going to get its opportunities. We just got to make the most of it. Got to make the most of it. That's on average across those 6 games. It's at least 2 interceptions a game, as opposed to he only threw, he's thrown 10 touchdown passes and 12 interceptions the last 6 games. So he is 1 to 2 in, yeah. So we're going to have our opportunities. That's just the way it is. Nico, though, he's coming in off a concussion protocol. Samson with a hurt ankle. I think Samson's good, though. What sucks is we were relatively healthy until that Miss State game.
Yeah. And that's the part I was hoping, man. I was praying that we can come out that game healthy somehow. I was hoping that we could have got up about 50 points and got the backups in and survived the rest of the game without any injuries. And gosh, we had scares with 2 of our star players.
Yeah. That being said, though, I think we're going to be okay, though. I like we kind of touched on it a minute ago. Nico, I hope he's available to play. If he's not, though, bring on Gaston Moore. I feel comfortable with Gaston. Samson, he can carry us as long as he don't, as long as that ankle ain't too bad. Just we gotta hope he don't get it tweaked up in Athens. That being said, though, man, this game kind of comes down to basically who has more pressure on them. Is it Tennessee or is it Georgia? I want to say if we come in and Georgia beat Ole Miss last week, it's 150% on Tennessee. And that's the way the media is putting the narrative right now, is it's on Tennessee. We either win or we're done. I don't think it's like that. I just don't, man. Too much wild stuff has happened. Georgia has to win to keep their hopes alive. And then honestly, let's talk about it. Like that Georgia Tech game they've got at the end of the season, that game's not a gimme. They just beat Miami this weekend. So I would argue the pressure's on Georgia, even though we're going on the road. They're 10-point favorites, which I give me the 10 all day long. I don't know. I don't feel like it's all on us.
Wow, it's 10 points. I mean, I wonder if that 10 points is because they think Nico is not going to play.
It opened at that. It opened up at that on last Saturday. So, and it's not moved one way or the other. I think they're waiting until later on in the week. Of course, tonight it's only Tuesday, but I think they're waiting until later on in the week, maybe around Thursday, before we see any kind of movement one way or the other. And I think if Nico's playing, we're not going to see much movement. If he don't play, though, I bet you that spread shoots up 15 points to 15. It would not surprise me in the least bit.
Well, I'm kind of with you right there, man. I mean, I'm going if I touch the game, if I put anything on, I'm going to take the Vols first half to cover, just to get mine away.
I like it.
10 points, that's a lot of points, man. 10 points for it's just rare that, and I get it. I mean, it's a home game, and then, you're talking about the history of it.
Right.
But the thing is, I don't think that Georgia is a kryptonite compared to what Alabama was.
I agree with you.
And I truly think that we're ready for it. I mean, granted that we haven't really played great on the road when it was, a big game, because the last really road trip we really had was our loss, really.
Yeah, Arkansas. That was it, though. And they weren't god-awful that night. No, they were bad, but they weren't god-awful that night. I mean, Arkansas had a good game plan. Georgia's probably going to have well, you would not probably. They'll have a better game plan for us than Arkansas did. It just comes down to execution.
Yeah, and of course, this is what Georgia's going to do. Me personally, they're going to do what you're supposed to do off top. Got to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do everything to keep Samson out of the end zone and try to make us one-dimensional. And that's where I'm praying and hoping that this is the actual week that we see the fireworks in Georgia on our side, where we're hitting all cylinders and making plays on offense, getting some quick slants, getting some drags, get some play action where we can go deep. And because Georgia's defensive line is not dominant. They've got great players, man. They got great players. They're not dominant. And I think this is the week that I think we're going to have to use the real spread option in a sense. And quarterback will have to actually run the ball and not, and even with Nico, when he run, I don't know why I don't like to see him run, because it's like he's not running full speed, man. It's like it's a giraffe out there trying to run the ball.
I'm telling you, dude, it is. But the boy runs like a damn gazelle, son. He don't even look like he's trying. Don't even look like he's trying.
It's almost like they told him not to run. It's like, oops, I'm sorry, but I got to run it.
And he's outrunning people. That's the crazy thing about it. Is like he is outrunning people. I'll tell you what, with guys his size, it kind of reminds me of course, now he's a lot bigger than him, but height wise, Chris Johnson, when he played for the Titans, he'd get out and it looked like he was just jogging, dude. And he's done, and he's dusting them, just gone. Yeah, he gone. I'm with you there. We're going to have to do some different stuff this week, and I think we'll see plenty of different packages and things of that nature this week. I think that especially when we get down on the goal line, he's going to get. I just hope he don't get too creative. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what's going to have to happen, I'm not looking for anything to change. I know it's not going to change. The key to this weekend is execution and mistake-free.
Yes.
We got to execute every play that's called, whether it is a run, we got to get our average. Let's get that 4 yards on the first down running the ball. Let's not create bad situations and getting us in long down and distances.
Yes.
And that's what has happened with Georgia. That's why he has a lot of interception, because of down and distances. I've noticed, and I'm watching Cut Up over here. He holds the ball too long.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going through his progressions, but he's not getting rid of the ball. And when he do get rid of the ball, he's in trouble, and that's why he's throwing so many picks. I'm watching it. I'm like, God, what is he doing?
Right.
Because even when he's throwing these picks, you should see the other receivers that are wide open, man. So I'm hoping that because we're going to get to him quick based off what I'm looking at these cut-ups here. Because these receivers, oh my gosh, these guys are getting off the ball. It's just he
They're
don't have
there.
the to him.
Exactly. Yes, they're there. Our problem, and we have the exact opposite problem. Nico's got the time to get it to him. Our wide receivers just don't get open.
Yeah.
So this is a good week to do that. It's a good week to do that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Georgia.
This is a good weekend to steal some recruits, baby.
There you go. Out of the greater Atlanta area. Let's talk about the Georgia offense just a bit, though. They average 30.8 points a game. They've got 33 total touchdowns on the season. They get 410 per game total offense. They're 44 for 114 on third downs, which is good for right at 39%. They're right at 75% on fourth down, 12 for 16. They get 286 per game passing. They've got 17 passing touchdowns on the year, 12 picks, which have come in the last 5 games. Those 12 picks have. So, that's an interesting stat there because, like I say, two touchdowns to 12 picks. I mean, that's never mind on that. But still, that pick number, man, that is astonishing because 10 of those 12 have come in the last 5 games.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. They get 124 per game rushing, 2 yards per attempt on that though. So they're moving the ball, running at a pretty good clip. But they got 16 rushing touchdowns. So here's where I feel like we can make some hay at though. They've given up 15 sacks on the year and lost a total of 107 yards. So when they're getting sacked at, they're losing 7.5, 8 and some change every time. So if we can, get those get to him, we're going to put ourselves in a good spot. And that's we're either going to get a turnover or we can flip the field. So that's what we want to see there. The defense though for Georgia, let's talk about that. Because this is not your Papaw's Georgia defense of the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? That dominant, just, smother you like a boa constrictor almost, just wrap you up and it's done. They give up 18.5 per game, 111 rushing, 3.4 yards per attempt. They have got, in the run game, 273 yards lost on tackles for a loss. So whenever they get to you back there, they're getting to you. Giving up 7 rushing touchdowns. Tells me why if we can get past that initial front 7, that initial push, we're going somewhere running. And you also too, I look at it like this too. Georgia has probably spent most of their year, I don't have the exact number, but I would imagine they've spent most of their season ahead in just about every game, with the exception of Alabama and Ole Miss, obviously. Of course, their run defense looks a lot better than it probably really is because everybody's throwing to get back in the game. So that's me thinking logically. I'm not saying that's what's happened, but they give up 195 passing per game. They've given up 9 passing touchdowns, 6.5 yards per attempt. Basically, they give up 306 a game, which is we get 471. So I feel like if we can split the difference and give up and gain 375 in this game total and put up 28, that's enough to win the game. Call me crazy, I think it is.
I'm with you there, man. I mean, the stats are there. I mean, we just got to create plays, and defensively, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, man. We got to get to the quarterback. And God knows, this is one game I truly don't want to get the first string quarterback hurt. I want him
right.
I want him in the game just so he can make mistakes, and also so we can say we beat you with all your best players.
That's it, buddy, because you know that's going to be the first place they go. The Georgia defense gives up is letting opponents convert 28% on third down. They're 50% on fourth. They've caused 11 fumbles and recovered 6. So, you know, they here's something though. 11 for 24. They've given up 11 touchdowns in the red zone on 24 trips. So you're scoring a touchdown at about a 50% clip. 10 for 24 field goal wise. So you're 21 to 24 period in the red zone. If you're Georgia defense, if you get down there, you're guaranteed something almost. I mean, just almost. But here's something to me that's really interesting. They've only had 8 punt returns all year. People have actually lost yardage on that return. They average negative 1.6 yards per attempt. So they're covering those punts. They're covering.
Well, I mean, and that's what you got to do, man. Especially if you got good punt returners. You don't want them to get the ball, man. I mean, that shows how dedicated they are with special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Which tells me, though, they're primed for a big return. So it's Boo Carter's time to shine, son. Let's talk about Tennessee, though. Enough about the leg humpers. Let's talk about Tennessee here. 7.5 points per game, 235 rushing per game, 26 touchdowns, 5 yards per attempt on offense, 6.4 passing per game, 13 touchdowns, 8.3 per attempt for 471 yards. I'm sorry, that you don't get much more balance than that right there.
Exactly. And that's why we're winning, man. I mean, we're being consistent on offense and defense. I mean, the offense don't look like, they're doing much, but they're actually serving their purpose, man. They're winning ball games. They're doing what the defenses don't like. They're running the
Absolutely.
ball. They're running the ball, and if you can't stop the run, it's going to be hard to beat a team if you can't stop them from running the ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I mean, here's my thing is like, I didn't realize, I knew that Heupel's offense was predicated on the run game. It starts and ends with the run game. He runs to set up his big plays. I did not realize, though, that we were that damn balanced. Like, that's almost perfect. That's almost 50-50, like right down the middle. Perfect. It's hard to defend that because you're keeping defenses on their heels most of the game. And you can't defend it hardly. Somebody's going to figure it out. Hopefully it's not this weekend. Hopefully it's not the rest of the year, but it's hard to figure it out, especially whenever we lean on the run game as much as we lean on.
And that's what I like about Hype's offense, man. It's not the sexy offense that everybody's wanting to see. We want to see the rocket launch. We want to see the big plays. We want to see that. But the way football is designed is you got to have a balanced attack on offense to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, no one can just say like, game plan and have it one-sided where we can't be successful. Because now, guess what? We can beat you either way, whether running or passing. Now, the passing attack doesn't look like it's doing much, but we're consistent.
It's doing enough to keep them honest.
Yes, because, I mean, we're not turning the ball over. And then even when the turnovers on picks, there have been bone-headed throws where we shouldn't have even threw the ball there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to break off little special teams here for you, though. On the year, we've had 23 punt returns for 337 yards, so we're getting 14.6 per return. I think that might be what could potentially flip this game this week. Could come down to that. 8 kick returns for 187 yards. We get 23.38 per return. On the flip side of that, though, we've punted 34 times, 1,516 yards total across the punts for a net of 40. We get 40. Well, every punt is 44.5 yards per attempt. That's flipping the field, buddy. We got I think this has got a defensive game written all over it right here. And if we can flip that field, buddy, it's going to be, it's going to come down to who wants it more, honestly, I think, because this has got, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out written all over it. And then somebody's going to bust that big play, and whether it be a punt return, deep ball, big run, whatever, that could decide it. So defensively, though, man, let's talk about the defense here, because this is a good comparison. Because I mean, let's just face it, last couple of years, Georgia defense is where we wanted to be at. Statistically, we're better than they are. 12.5 points per game, 100 rushing yards per game, 6 touchdowns, 2.8 yards per attempt. We give up 171.5 passing, 6 touchdown passes all year, 6 yards per attempt. Man, I'll tell you what, those numbers right there, I will take those all day long.
Yes, sir.
Then we'll talk about the red zone trips here. Total, we're 18 for 27. 10 of those 18 are touchdowns. 8 are field goals. So, yeah, you're not guaranteed points when you get in the red zone is what that tells me. I mean, there's nine trips there where people have come away empty-handed. We need about two more of those this weekend, I'd say. So that's that's pretty much where we're at here. Also, though, let's throw this out there: 8 picks for the Vols defense, 247 return yards, 30.8 per return. Mr. Will Brooks, baby.
Yes, sir.
Walk on, running like Forrest Gump out there. He's track star. So, man, I just tell you though, dude, this is the biggest game of the year for us, period. I think this game, we're at the point now to where until Alabama gets a little bit better, this is the new Alabama for us. This is the new game, biggest game of the year, hands down, I think, at this point, is where we're at.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. Those days are gone for a while. You won't see that dominant for a while. Like right now, yes, Georgia is, because, they won the championship back-to-back and things like that. So they are the new SEC big dog right now. But right now, there's not anybody. Right now, the big dog is us. We're on the top of the board right now. And no one is even respecting that situation. And I'm like, guys, we are the best right now. We're on top of the SEC, and no one is giving us credit for it.
No, not at all.
Texas got the record, but no one is giving us credit.
Hey, Texas got the same record we've got right now.
And that's where it healed me at, man. Like, gosh, like this weekend, in order for us to be successful this weekend, and I'm going to say it again because I think I said earlier in the show, Georgia is very suspect to any quarterback that's able to run the ball. Every team that they played that was able to run the ball a little bit, heck, Dart, he only has, 50 yards against him, and he was the leading rusher, I think. I mean, because I don't think, because Coach Kiffin wasn't going to run the ball. He was going to have every pass and play he can to try to beat him quick.
He did, dude. He exposed that defense over the middle. That's where I think we can do some work this week. Because
I'm hoping that we do lean on our defense and don't make our offense make mistakes and lose it for us with a bonehead pick or a bonehead, a blindside fumble or something like that. That's why I say we got to get rid of the ball quick this week. This week, big plays is going to be huge in order for us to be successful, because I don't think we'll be able to do 12 play drives or 15 play drives or, eat the clock up. Now, that's what I would love to be. I would love for this to be a 14-3 win Vols. I would love for it to be that way.
Oh, I'm with you there. Hey, I'll say this though. The Vols have still yet to give up 20 points in conference play. So this game's got slugfest written all over it. I mean, it really does. Because you kind of know what both defenses are bringing to the table. I'll say this though, Kiffin exposed the shit out of them. I mean, he did. And if there's one thing Kiffin's good at, it's offense. He's a slime ball, but by God, he's a good offensive coach. I don't know, man. I don't know. I got a good feeling about this weekend. I just hope that the one thing I want to see, and I feel like we didn't necessarily see it in Oklahoma because we come out of there with a win. You flip the narrative, though, against Arkansas, and you kind of seen it a little bit. Don't come out and coach scared. Don't. Come out, let them hang, go down the field, do what you got to do, get it done, walk out of Athens with a win. Because you win this game, you pretty much have a berth in the SEC championship game, which it's been 17 years since we've been to. 20 since we've won it. Last time we won it, you were there.
I hope so, man. I mean, because we are due, man. Like, I'm not really worried about the Georgia, man. Everybody just don't get it, man. I mean, this is not the same Georgia. Like, this is not the same Tennessee, guys. We are a lot better than we've always been, guys. Like, I just wish we get more confidence behind us when I say this. Like, I have yet to hear any of our fans go like, "Oh, we got a chance to beat them." No,
Absolutely.
everything I've heard has been so negative week in and week out. Like, just because we're not scoring 100 points.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You and I talk about it every week, man, before we come on here. It's just be happy we're winning. Be happy we're winning because 5 years ago, buddy, we would die to be where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's be happy we are where we're at. Be happy we're relevant. We're winning games. We're playing big games. Game day is going to be there this weekend. This game has got all the makings of the big games. You called that actually a couple weeks back. So
This is like for instance, I guarantee you when we win this game, everybody's gonna skip over it and say, "Oh man, Vandy might beat us now." Like, what?
yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be Georgia's not that good.
Oh, man, like once we win, when we win this one, I'm not worrying about nobody else on the schedule.
Mm-mm.
Because when this one is pretty much the standard game that gonna create the mind of these kids where no one can beat us now.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's this game could do a lot on a lot of levels for this program. Like we've turned that corner of being competitive. We've turned that corner of beating Alabama. Now is whenever we need to turn that corner of we're expecting to win games like this. Not that we're not, but we're expecting to now because this fan base is to the point to where we're not with. And they didn't. I'm so glad Facebook wasn't around in '98 and I wasn't old enough to sit and have to listen to it because they would have died back then, dude. Not winning games by 40 points. Like, give me a damn break. Come on, y'all. We're winning games, so we don't have to cover the spread every time, as much as I'd like us to. But, hey, I'm not going to sit here and complain. Just win the damn game. Win the damn game.
Now,
Go ahead.
My bad. So,
no, go ahead.
I'll let you finish. I think when I start that conversation, it's gonna go a little bit longer. So I'll let you go.
Oh no, you go right ahead. We'll go into it because I was gonna say we got some parlays we're gonna throw out there too.
So a lot of people's been coming around and saying like, this season feels like '98 or this team is exactly like '98, their destiny team or things like that. And of course, I continue to say it. I'm gonna say it every single time. No, they're not. They got a loss. We didn't have a loss yet. I mean, got some close wins back then, but the one thing that I'm gonna continue to tell them all, yes, they are alike us when it comes to getting the job done. Anything you need to do to win this game, don't worry about who is the star. That's when it becomes a team when no one cares who gets the credit.
Yes. No,
Everybody
I'm with
has
you there.
part of that situation. I don't care. Like back then, I didn't care if Al got all the recognition. I didn't care if Peyton got all the recognition. I didn't care about that. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we all got the same thing, either a win or a loss.
That's it, buddy. That's it. And I'm with you there because it's just like me in particular. Yeah, we get on here every week. We talk about stuff that stood out to us during the game. But the bigger picture to to people like you and I is get the dub. It don't matter who done what, get the dub. And I feel like that's the mentality that this team takes on, is just, hey, blue collar, get out there, work your ass off, get the win, do what you got to do. And in a sense, yes, they like you said, they are like that, how you guys work, but y'all were perfect. Y'all didn't have a loss hung on you. So oh man, come close a couple times though. Come close, but buddy, don't matter. Close don't get her done. So man, we could be talking about another national championship this year. Here, give us another month and a half, 2 months. We could be talking about it, but
I will love it. I will love it. I will love it.
well, I would too. There's going to be a lot of people not like me either, and that's just fine. It's just so, buddy. That being said, though, let's you and I talked about it earlier. We usually put some pick'ems together every week. This week we're going to do something a little different. We got parlay. We're going to put a parlay together. So I'll let you fire yours off first. What do you got?
Oh man, let me pull this up real quick. I said I was going to write them down, but this time I'm just going to go random with it because I think there's a chance that I can help you make a little bit of money this week, man. I love being the guy that picked a team that no one think is gonna cover and do that because I truly, because I like how you like to pick like the underdogs and go that route. But a lot of times when you pick the underdogs, it's like you might pick 5 underdogs and only one of them win. But
Right,
when
right.
you win, you still come out on top and make a little bit of money. The key is with me, like I like to play singles. Like I love parlays, they hit, but I know how the books work, man. The books work because they want you to play parlays because high chance of you losing.
Exactly.
Even though if I play like a 14 parlay, I still play each one of them individually.
Got to. I like
I
it.
like to either break even or win money. And that's the
There you
game
go.
of when you're gambling, you're trying to make money. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Let me pull up the spreads here. What I'm gonna do. Let's see. Who do you use when you playing your wagers?
I'll go with FanDuel, but sometimes I'll drop one on like Fanatics. I like Fanatics. If you don't use Fanatics, new users usually get a pretty good little sign up bonus on there. Plus, if you use my code there, you get another 50, and you can use their fan bucks on there to buy gear with. You can either bet with it or buy gear.
Oh man, so I'm gonna start off with the first game on Saturday. It's a noon game. You got Texas with Arkansas. Texas, I think, is favored by 2 touchdowns.
Yes,
I
sir.
think I think that's too many points, man. I mean, this deep in the season, I don't think any SEC team should be favored by that many points right now. And I think they're kind of over saying that spread because Texas is rolling right now. But guess what? There's a lot of pressure on Texas right now.
Yeah.
Texas don't have any room for mistakes. And guess what? This is the time of the year where a lot of mistakes happen and the pressure's on everybody. Now that the playoff picture is out, I
Oh yeah.
think 14 points is too many. I'm going to take Arkansas to cover 14 points on that one, guys.
I like that one. I like that one. I'm gonna go. I'll tell you what. I've got one from one of the earlier games too here. Penn State, Purdue. The over/under on that one is 51. I don't think Purdue scores enough on that to hit that. Give me the under.
Okay. Let's see. Let me find out over under. I normally don't touch them, but like I kind of think those are a lot easier to play than most games. I'm gonna give you a pretty easy one to go with. Like Oregon State got Air Force at 3:30. The over and under is 45. That seemed like a very easy total to reach. I don't think neither one of those teams would be able to put up that many points. That's a lot of points for those both of those offenses. Those offenses are designed to run, and they're eating up a lot of clock. So give me, like, I would actually tease it down to 42.
I like
So
it.
so under 45 is easy, guys.
I would say I could see that too because Air Force is not the Air Force of old. You know, they're not. I don't even think they're still running that triple option anymore. I think they're running a version of it, but it's a shotgun, and they're not. They don't have the personnel to do that with. I like that pick. That's a good one. I'll tell you another one on here that I've got jot down here that I kind of like is give me BYU to cover that 3-point spread this week. They've got, let's see here, BYU favored by 3 over Kansas, only 3. So give me that
So
3. Give me that 3.
is that an evening late game or early game?
That's that's Big 12 after dark, buddy. That's a late one. And it's a 55.5 point over under.
Now, my next one, I'm gonna go with a big spread, man. Let's see here. I typically try to take a one where we got 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna go with the South Carolina Missouri game. I think South Carolina is favored by 12. I think 11.5, 12 points or something like that.
Yep.
And South Carolina is at home, and South Carolina is actually on a roll right now, man. They're playing good football. I think those guys, those seniors, are finally gelling and mixing together. I think Missouri's quarterback is not going to play probably. I mean, he's already been playing injured, and they don't think he's going to be able to play. And their backup, he sucks. So I'm going to take South Carolina with 11.5.
You just call it like it is. You're like, he sucks. I like it. I don't blame you, man. You're right on that too. South Carolina's playing tough ball right now. They're playing good ball. My next one up, I'm kind of going the same kind of route you're going here. Oregon travels to Wisconsin. They're 14.5 point favorites. Give me Oregon to cover that. Give me Oregon to cover that. I don't think Wisconsin's got the Badgers in the dam to cover that.
I like that. I like that play. I like that because that Oregon offense can light it up real quick. Of course, it is a conference game, but I think the number one team will prevail and cover that spread as well. Let's see, one more. Let's go. Try to find some easy ones. There's a lot of hard ones. Let's go with the early games. Okay, let's go with the Notre Dame game. I think Notre Dame has got to produce to at least show some type of highlight. They got Virginia, and they're favored by 21 points. I'm gonna take Notre Dame with the 21 points.
Okay, all right. I'm digging that one. That's one though. No, this is one too. This is part of my problem too. Is I like to pick with my heart sometimes instead of my head. We do one thing I think it would help us maybe give a little insurance. Not saying we will, but should we lose this weekend, is if Notre Dame lays a big old turd in the last couple games. That would help us. We need them to drop one, but I'm not going to pick that game. Notre Dame's got that one on lock. I'm going to go one kind of in the earlier slot here. Boston College goes to number 13 SMU. I've got a 16.5 point spread there by SMU. Give me SMU to cover that one. SMU's playing tough ball right now. They're fired up, buddy. They're right there on Miami's heels for that ACC championship. Don't sleep on them. And that feels weird as hell to say. SMU ACC championship. Who would have thought it?
And see, and my last one, I'm gonna go with a nice total that I normally pick this one, and a lot of people always run away from these totals, but these are gimme, man. They're like begging you to take the under on these things. Like Washington State got New Mexico, 9:35 game, and the total is 71.5. I like the over 71.5.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
See, those type of games there, when you see those spreads there, that's typically you're going to see a 100-point score. Those goes into overtime every time.
Right. Yeah. Well, those are those Pac-12 after dark games. We've all seen those. I like that one. That's a decent one right there, man. That's good. I always get scared when I see those big
No,
overs like that. It's like 71. But yeah, that's a solid one. I like that. I'm gonna tell you on that one. I'm gonna tell you.
those are the ones like you like guys. They come out firing on all cylinder, man. And like it'd be a quick kickoff return for a touchdown. Then next play, you like, hold on, he just ran for 80 yards that quick. They already got 14 in the first 3 minutes of the game. Come on.
So I like that one. I jotted yours down. I'm gonna tell you on those for sure. My last play, and it kind of puts the icing on the cake here. I took the Vols on the money line. Money line is plus 290.
I knew you was gonna do it.
Yeah, you did. You did. Plus 290, son.
I love it,
So
man. I love it. I mean, I can't go against the Vols. I'm not gonna play because I'm afraid to put money on it because you just never know with my Vols. But you got confidence. I'm gonna ride with you, man. I'm gonna combine all these and play them together, man. And see what we get.
hell yeah, might as well. I'll tell you this on the 5-legger there that I put together, $10 will win you 482.
Man, that's not
So
bad. That's a good payday for $10, man.
I do play them. You've seen it. I screenshot it and send it to you just about every week. So I'm gonna play both of these. I'll take your lead too. We'll put them together. We'll put them both together, son. Out of your 5 though, which one or two do you feel most confident in? We'll call this one the Vawlin Out Parlay.
I'm gonna go with the under and the over. Those two should be pretty easy.
Okay, all right. On my 2, I would say the Vols, but I'm gonna leave them out of this one because we do want to win some people some money here. I am very confident in that one, but I'm gonna take the 3 for BYU and that under on Penn State Purdue. I just don't see Purdue putting up many points on that one. I just don't. So I need to put that in here and see exactly what it'll win us. But that's either way, that's going to be a solid payday for some if they tell us here, and they should. So, but man, that being said, buddy, I think we've about hashed out everything out we can hash out for the night. What do you think?
Hey, let's do it, baby.
So, we'll end this one with how we always end it, with a big old Go Vols. And buddy, I can't wait for Saturday to get here. It's going to be oh man, we're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna have some fun with it. I can't wait to get back on here next week and talk about a Vols dub.
Yes, sir. Go Vols.
So, Go Vols.